When did it become controversial to police your borders? Territorial boundaries define a nation state and always have done. Hey, in the good old days, even cities had walls and gates. It wasn't unfashionable then, but it seems to be now. In 2023, with technology and surveillance, that should make us more secure than ever. But our borders are currently more exposed than a Britney Spears selfie. It isn't complicated. Countries should decide who comes in and who doesn't. Why else would we need customs officials and passports? Except these days, passports are an optional extra. Which is why no court in the land should usurp a government policy to stop illegal crossings in the Channel. Crossings which are a national security, economic and humanitarian disaster. People are being extorted by criminal gangs, paying thousands of pounds for the promise of a better life, and some are dying as they make that perilous journey. Later this month is the 2-year anniversary of the English Channel disaster, where 27 people lost their lives at sea. Illegal immigration is costing the country, that's you and me, over £3 billion a year, including £8 million a day on hotels. That's money that can't be spent on the health service, on defence, on education or policing. The national security threat is also a clear and present danger as well. Don't take my word for it. The Mail report that a manhunt has been launched to locate 6 terror suspects who arrived in Britain on small boats in the last couple of weeks. The illegal migrants, who all have links to Islamist groups, started the journey in Syria and travelled to Europe before crossing the Channel. Their arrival brings the total number of terror suspects who have entered Britain on small boats this year to 25. But is that the number, which is only a tip of the iceberg? How will we ever know when many crossing following legal advice chuck their phones and documentation into the sea? Which is why the Supreme Court's intervention in regards to the Rwanda plan, deeming it unlawful, is such a problem. Set up by Tony Blair, this highest court in the land has entered the political fray, something that no court should ever do. Now, I don't know the politics of these judges, and I'm not a fan of language like enemies of the people. But in a sense, they are the enemies of the will of the people, who want an end to this crisis. Democracy should trump the judiciary every time. It's Parliament that should be sovereign, not dusty lawyers in grey wigs. Too many members of the judiciary are happy to kick this issue into the long grass for the foreseeable future. Some profit from it, advising those who have broken the law on how to stay. Others simply pursue their own political goal of a more open borders policy. This collision of politics and the legal system is now blurrier than a night out with Paul Gascoigne. But what the judicial and political elite don't realise is that this is a national emergency and the people have had enough. Mark my words, sitting on our hands won't wash with the public, who I predict will look favourably on any party that is serious about reasserting the boundaries of this country. Which is why tackling the small boats crisis is Rishi Sunak's only hope of another 5 years in power. We can't carry on like this. It was the wise words of French President Emmanuel Macron, for whom my admiration grows daily, who said in a recent television interview that Western countries like Britain and France cannot accept the misery of the world. It's an honest remark, and we need an honest conversation about what it means to be a country again, and whether we're willing to defend our identity, our territorial boundaries, and our very existence. It's the politicians that should be running this country, not lawyers, which is why the Supreme Court should be recalibrated or, if necessary, disbanded so that Parliament is once again sovereign. The lawyers are the guilty party here. Send them down.